So, it's the end of my day today. As you can see, it's like really dark outside. And I just thought I'd say I thought my eyes were going to die today. Sometimes I feel like, I need like some illumination on my eyes because I stare at the phone too much. It's not even the computer anymore, it's just the phone because I'm like doing all these things on the phone throughout the day. And it's like at the end of the day, my eyes have just about had it. So, I found my eye drops today and I put them in, and I have no idea if it helped me or not, but I did it because my eyes were just feeling so weird from, I don't know, they feel like the circles of the eyes were just like, you know, just wanted to blink out or something. So, um, I put my eye drops in today to um, eradicate the feeling of dryness on the top of the eyes or something. So, either way, I figured I'm always suffering from eye strain like every day. Even if I just, read or something, I always suffer eye strain. I feel like every day I'm suffering eye strain. So, but today, like, I was like, oh, I've had it with this feeling, so I'd better put in some eye drops just in case. It's bad to have eyes that feel so weird. So, that's what I did today to sort of ease the discomfort on the top of my eyes because my eyes were like, I definitely felt like they were strained, probably from glaring at, the phone screen and stuff. So that reflection, I feel like, maybe the eyes aren't, you know, looking at something real anymore. They're just looking at reflections as opposed to objects that might even give them some exercise, like moving objects or something. So I was like, I know I stare at my phone like probably at least 8 to 12 hours a day or something. Because I'm like, oh, I've got a survey, oh, I've got an email, oh, I've got to, watch a video, oh, I've got to, do this and that, and I signed up to something pretty addictive today. So I'll be like, oh, I have to see this through at the end of every day. So, um, and so, I'm always doing stuff on my phone. Like, even when I'm watching TV, I'm playing with my phone. It's like I can't put it down because there's just so much to do on your phone. And I'm like, oh, sometimes I'm like, I really think I've overdone it. Like, yesterday, I felt like I just wanted to collapse because, um, I don't know, I just felt like, oh, I'm either laying down too much or I'm looking at my phone too much. And I'm like, and yesterday I was like, oh, I feel so off. Like, I just want to collapse and stuff. I have all these weird feelings lately. I have a lot of discomfort physically. I'm certain that I have certain issues. I probably should be talking to doctors about, but then I'm like, oh, screw it, all I've ever done is ignore it. So, I've got a lot of physical discomforts at the moment, and I'm like, my eyes are one of them. And I'm like, yesterday I was like, oh, if I do anything, I'm gonna like either throw up or faint or something. But I didn't do either. But after I went out and did like a bit of movement, I was sort of just moving furniture and boxes and stuff because we're packing up to move. And I was like, oh, that makes me feel a lot better because I've stood up, I've moved around, and I was like, oh, before I did that, I felt like I was dying or something. Because like my eyes were just so whacked out and my even my brain was whacked out and I was like, oh, I just want to collapse really. So I probably should look up on the internet like how many hours a day you're supposed to stare at your phone because I stare at my phone all day long and I'm like, the only time I don't stare at the phone is when I'm on the computer or at work. When I'm watching TV I stare at my phone too, but um when I'm out and about though, I don't stare at the phone and I'm like going, I've got relatives who like always on their phone and they get like told, oh, not too much phone stuff, and I'm like, I feel like I should be told that sort of thing because I think I've just been staring at the phone too much. Like, I do way beyond 2 hours a day, 4 hours a day. So, and for me, like, if I'm not on some phone or computer all the time, it's like I'm not doing enough. Like, I'm not doing anything. And I just feel like I'm wasting my time. So, um, so I'm always trying to get on there just to, do stuff, in all this fiddly stuff to like do your, Facebook and do your blogs and do your this and that, and I'm like, and at the end of the day, you're like going, oh, sometimes I think I'm doing this stuff too much, and it's not like it's, rewarding in any way except personally. So, um, so I'm like, so I've been realizing lately that I've probably been overdoing the phone stuff a bit, but that's why I got the ingenious idea of putting eye drops in, and I must say that my eyes do feel a little bit more relaxed now because they felt like little. I feel like the tops of my eyes just want to fall out or something. So, um, um, or either that or just like I don't know, stop working or something. So, um, because I did do an X-ray in my eyes, and it's like it's got all these like ages and ages ago, and I still feel like it's like there, like all these tendrils of veins, escaping from the back of your eye and stuff. And like, oh, that looks like a whole lot of whole lot of strain there, and I still feel like my eyes are strained, and so I don't usually put eye drops on, but today when I put them on, it sort of helped quite a bit, and I was like, oh, that feels a little bit better. It's a little bit of a spa for my eyes. But we're not going out to the country tomorrow. I wish we were, but we're not. We're going next week to the country, so I'll probably tag along on that trip unless I'm doing something like got a job or something. I'm really excited for this job in the city, but today I got this job offer at this place called at this other place, and I'm sure it floods, and I'm sure I've worked there, and I'm sure I've swam, and I'm sure I've outlived around sharks, and I'm sure the people there go funny when it floods and things. Other than that, it's a pretty normal place to work, I think, but I haven't worked there in ages, and I'm like, oh, I bet I've worked here, and it's like, and I still don't have a rental. Like, if I got a job, I'd have to stay here, and I still don't have a rental, and I have to get my butt into gear to get one. I was supposed to be researching rentals tonight, but I think I'll do that tomorrow morning when I wake up because I don't feel like looking at my phone very much. So I was just watching videos, and now it's like almost 12:30, and I was like, oh, I better get some sleep before tomorrow. But yeah, first thing tomorrow morning, I'll probably look at the rentals and see if there's anything there. My favorite places have gone, and I know that I should have gone. I should have applied for the 251. I should have applied for the 265 one. I know this 265 one, you need to get filters so that the water doesn't taste like crap. But I think it's yeah, so you definitely need those filters in that particular place, but that's gone now. I didn't get to apply for it either. They just go so quickly. Um, and I should have applied for it, but I was bitching about, oh, 265. It should be like more like 150 and 165, but I'm looking at a place that's secure as well. It's not just the price, it's also the location and the security of it. You can get places for 150, and it's like, you could be living next door to anyone could just run up and knock on your door and things, so it can be a little bit uncomfortable. There's this unit closer to the city. I've stayed there before. It's attached to some sort of people try and run into the apartment in the middle of the night, and you have to call the cops to make them go away, and then you've got a bad rep with the real estate agents who are linked to these people and blah blah blah. So it's a little bit of a, you know, a botchy place to live, but it's fairly cheap. It's relatively cheap, $220 a week, for a 2-bedroom apartment. So it's nice and roomy, but I don't know if I have the strength to face all these horrible places, because I do feel like I'm really just living on the edge when I'm, putting up with that kind of stuff. They go away after a while, but when you first move in, it's like, oh, someone's gonna try and break in. You're just looking at the window waiting for it and stuff. So I don't think really that's really where I should be living. I think I should try like the same place where I know it's secure, and I know I'm gonna be spending. Well, now that the cheaper places are going, I could be spending $300 a week, and I'm like, $300? It was $300 freaking dollars, like, or I could just give it away and go to the country for a little while and wait for my parent to turn strange and weird as though they've been abducted or something. Or for the loveliest cyclone in the world to visit, because with this place, the trouble isn't the floods. Sure enough, it floods, but the trouble isn't the floods, it's the cyclones that visit once in a while. Last time we lived in this exact same property, it's like, I think we had 2 lovely months before a cyclone came. So cyclones didn't necessarily come all the time, but they come every now and again. And then when they hit, it's like you don't want to be there, because sometimes there's 2 or 3 cyclones around in the area, and you're like going, it's pretty scary stuff. And I know who I live with isn't going to safeguard their lovely wooden home to divert cyclones, so it's going to be pretty scary. So my whole idea with trying to obtain work is to avoid having to go out there and meet those sorts of storms. But at the same time, I guess there's some sort of opportunity in it. But also near the area, sometimes a little friendly little volcano erupts and lava flows all over the place, and it's like, everyone will be like, oh, if I said that out loud, everyone's like, oh, you're crazy, that doesn't happen. It's a lovely place. I've looked at the weather reports. It says never floods. It only rains millimeters, not centimeters, and and it's just perfect. What you're saying is quite loony or something. But I'm pretty 100% certain we've lived there several times, and every time there's like some sort of natural disaster. The volcano eruption only happens once in a while. It hasn't happened every time we moved there, but sometimes it has erupted, and it's like, oh, all this lava is coming out and stuff. So, so there is an active volcano nearby. And there's also this ice storms, like you just stand outside, everything turns to ice all of a sudden, and so it's being lasered from a hill far away or something. So there's ice, I don't even know what you call it. I just call it ice storms or ice blasts that, and people, you can get frozen to the ground when it's like early morning. So, but we're not living in a place that's open to ice blasts at all. So it's going to be good that it's not in the area that gets those sorts of things. But it does get buddy up cyclones of 2 or 3. And so you're like going, oh no, this... And it gets floods too. The floods aren't the biggest problem. I mean, the snakes are there, but biggest problem is those dang cyclones. And I don't think it's I have no idea what happens if there were a lava eruption. I'm not sure if it actually reaches that far. It's a little a bit on a hill, a little away from the town center. But the a volcano erupting isn't the scariest thing in the world. The scariest thing for me is the cyclones, and I'm like, so anyway. So if I don't move out there, I'll be stuck in a rental. And I don't like using my money for rent because it's like, oh, I've never had money before and now I've suddenly got a job and I'm paying $300 a week rent. Doesn't make any sense. Sometimes I think I'm too old to work, so I'd better keep my butt on the ball because I'm pretty old. and I'm worried that, and I've never made any money, and it's like, and this year it seems to be my lucky year. I'm getting all these invitations to work, all these interviews and things, and I'm like thinking, geez, I feel lucky this year. I've gotten one job, and I've gotten two jobs. One didn't work out though, and it's like, I just feel like I have all these opportunities this year, and I'm like, oh, maybe it's a good year for work for me because I seem to be getting lots and lots of interviews, and I don't get lots and lots of jobs, but I get lots and lots of interviews at least, and I'm like, they just have to choose me. I think I'm on the doorstep of a new job, but I might, yeah, but I don't know. Anyway, I am getting pretty old, and I'm like, oh, geez, I haven't made any money, and I'm getting old, and my parent thinks they can take me anywhere with them, and we're gonna be like buddying it together forever, and it's like, oh, I don't really want to buddy forever. So I'm trying to get a job, and then I'll give them a bit of a break from me, and if it doesn't work out, I can just pack my bags and go out to the country, I guess. Or I could pack my bags and go out to the country, have an argument with them, and watch them turn weird while we face natural disasters, and then come back and not know them for a long time, not live with them for a long time, because we've had a fight. That could happen. I could do it that way too. I mean, that's a smart way to do. Like, don't go renting until you're down and desperate. But I don't know. I'll see how things go. I've only got 2 weeks to move, or 3 weeks to vacate. So every week it's like, I'm really dragging my feet on all this stuff because I'm gonna have to put like a heap of money out of my savings accounts to pay for everything, and I'm like, no, that's all my hard-earned money I spent the last 3 years saving. And I'm like, oh, it's terrible. But my whole idea was I have to have a job before I move anywhere because otherwise, no point me living on my own when I can't afford it.